A business is only as strong as its ability to adapt. This imperative to improve business agility is fueling a massive modernization movement for business-critical applications such as Oracle. Those efforts typically lead to public cloud services, such as those from Amazon Web Services or AWS. In fact, 62% of organizations identify migrating to the cloud as a dominant part of their strategy for existing applications moving forward. I'm Scott Sinclair, Practice Director with the Enterprise Strategy Group, and joining me to discuss how to accelerate Oracle modernization efforts with AWS is Colin Dawes from Syntax. Colin, thanks for taking the time to chat with me. Can you quickly introduce yourself and provide some background? Really help the audience get to know you before we get started.
Oh, thank you, Scott. My name is Colin Dawes. I'm the Chief Solution Architect and Global Director of our ERP product portfolio at Syntax. As a Chief Solution Architect, I'm responsible for the overall design and the overall solutions that our teams provide for customers. As a Global Director of our ERP product portfolio, that includes the strategic direction of our ERP products such as SAP, Oracle E-Business Suite, and JD Edwards. I've worked with over 400 organizations globally on their ERP strategy, including their architecture, assessment, cloud migrations, their roadmaps, and their pathway towards digital transformation.
Let's get right to it. I mentioned agility, but what drives the organizations you work with to migrate mission-critical apps such as Oracle to the cloud?
Well, moving these mission-critical applications such as ERP to the public cloud using Syntax and AWS provides organizations with a number of different advantages. Apart from agility that you already mentioned, companies really look for scalability to handle growing workloads, high availability for uninterrupted operations, cost efficiency via the pay-as-you-go model and lower costs, as well as enhanced security measures. Every customer will look for performance, speed improvements, and one of the keys they look for is also flexibility, and the cloud will allow them to adapt to all of their changing needs in the future. So all of those benefits really push organizations to invest more in cloud technologies and to innovate on that platform.
One of the other things, though, we see in our research, 81% of organizations say they face challenges with application and data portability across the location. Can you walk us through some of the common challenges your organizations face with cloud migrations, especially for these mission-critical apps like Oracle?
Well, there are several different challenges that customers will encounter. So the biggest one that customers often face are staffing and skills. Cloud migration and cloud technology, you require cloud-savvy professionals and cloud architects. And these resources, they're just not always in abundance. So it's a retooling of staff. Other concerns that customers face are cloud security and compliance. So it's really crucial that organizations, when you take that initial foray into cloud, you're going to require the configuration of a just completely overwhelming array of options. So we want to make sure that you've got the adequate default options for network security, data privacy, access control, encryption, and vulnerability management. There's not a customer out there that doesn't have some concerns regarding licensing as they move towards the cloud. Specifically, they're going to mention license portability. Can I even run it? Am I allowed to do that? License management, how do you manage them in the cloud? Can I reuse my existing enterprise agreement? And they need to repeat this process across all their technology, middleware, and applications. So licensing is certainly a big concern. After that, data migration. So especially with ERP applications, moving the data can be a challenge. How can they move it? Which tools does the cloud hyperscaler provide? And other decisions such as how many times you need to move it. Are you going to transform it? Are you going to change platforms? What's going to be the frequency that you're going to move that? So there's a lot of decisions around the migration process. Continuing on with applications, these applications are not an island, they talk to each other. So interfaces and integration is very key. So complex applications are going to have a lot of interfaces. Migrating these interfaces and retooling them is going to be a definite concern. So we want to have seamless integration on the cloud. and they might integrate with other SaaS applications. So it's definitely a concern that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, and I love that comprehensive breakdown, right? As you kind of walk through all these considerations. I want to get though to you and Syntax in particular. So who is Syntax and how do you help?
Okay. Well, Syntax is an organization. We provide comprehensive technology solutions, application management, and we're a trusted global advisory partner. So we provide advisory services on these applications and cloud technology. Syntax, we're both an AWS Premier Consulting partner, we're an SAP partner, and an Oracle partner. So first, as an AWS managed services partner, we take our deep knowledge of ERP systems and enhance that with the power of cloud technology. And that allows us to deliver these comprehensive ERP solutions. And that's going to leverage the scalability, flexibility, and the cost efficiency of the cloud for the customers. Syntax is also an AWS optimization and licensing partner or OLA partner. And this enables us to assess a customer's environment in terms of their licensing, optimize that licensing both on the on-prem environment and in the cloud. And that's going to be based off the actual resource consumption and utilizations of the applications and technology. Syntax, we're very focused on our ERP, but we're also ERP is part of an entire ecosystem. So we're able to support all the third-party apps and other mission-critical applications, as well as anything else that the customers are working on. Our focus is really on tools and differentiators. So we know there can be an array of different tools. So we have a multi-cloud portal called CX Hub that allows the consolidation of management tools. We also have other tools that allow us to consolidate and minimize the operational footprint. So that's going to allow us to streamline those business processes, drive better efficiency, and really accelerate innovation for our customers.
Can you walk me through the OLA, the optimization licensing assessments, how those work, as well as, a readiness assessment? What does all this entail, and what insights can organizations seek to gain by working with you and working through these assessments?
So if you want to establish whether a customer is really ready to migrate to the public cloud, we really need to take a look at that ERP system and to look at what's the impact and footprint of the overall licensing. And going through that optimization and licensing assessment allows us to specifically look at that portion. We do a very comprehensive readiness assessment, and we look at the entire ERP ecosystem. And so the tools, business analytics are mapped, the dependencies. We're going to reimagine that all in the public cloud. And that's going to look at a decision on what migration methodology that we're going to use for the various different applications. As part of that assessment, we're going to look at the planning of the infrastructure, the architecture, middleware. What are we going to do for disaster recovery? Is high availability scope of that? And then we're going to expand that and look at the security and compliance portion of that. So that's a very essential piece of the overall strategy and that readiness assessment. Looking at the financial components. So that perspective is going to give you a cost analysis, which is going to also include the licensing and the overall maintenance budgets for that. The OLA itself incorporates the change management, readiness, potential risk of the overall project. And when we look at successful ERP transitions to the public cloud, we need to make sure that we consider all of these various factors and we go through and do a very in-depth analysis here.
I really like I love all that, but I really like the cost analysis part of it. I mean, right now, I think every organization is hyper-focused on cost, and that's a critical part of all of this. So let's focus on the outcomes. We talked about, some of the reasons people go to cloud, but what are some of the benefits that organizations can expect to gain from working with you guys at Syntax, as well as AWS?
Well, working with Syntax, we're able to leverage the capabilities of AWS and provide organizations with many different advantages. We want customers to realize the benefits of increased scalability, flexibility, and cost optimization. And by leveraging Syntax's experience in our cloud advisory services and our breadth of knowledge with the AWS architecture, we're going to be able to come up with a solution that's very collaborative, enforces security and compliance mechanisms, And organizations, when they move to Syntax, we're going to invest very heavily and move them towards innovation. So not just simply moving over and parking it. We want them to invest. We want them to expand the footprint and start taking advantage of digital transformation technologies, business analytics, data lakes. And so there may be a multi-phased approach to that migration over towards AWS. We've got expertise in SAP and Oracle ERPs. So that's going to allow us to take our expert knowledge and leverage the technology and capabilities of AWS so that they get some very intelligent ERP insights as part of that as well. So overall, companies, when they work with Syntax, they can really achieve the full potential of the ERP as well as the full potential of AWS. That's going to allow them to derive digital change and really reach their business goals more rapidly.
Yeah, and I think it's that last point, achieving those business goals more rapidly, that is the most important thing, right? Is we all have these digital transformation, these digital objectives, right? But at the end of the day, we're under pressure to execute them as quickly as possible, but in a format that controls for risk and cost. And I think that's exactly what you guys are doing. Colin, thank you so much for your time. If I'm in the audience, where can I go to learn more?
Thank you, Scott. If anyone wants to know more about Syntax and our expertise on AWS and ERP, I'd encourage you to visit our website, and you can download the latest case studies, white papers, webinars, and other information about AWS and ERP applications.